all of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed.
Months before Diddy's world began to unravel, Katt Williams was already dropping hints that something big was coming. Now, with courtroom drama heating up, whispers are growing louder that the outspoken comedian might be stepping off the stage or into the witness box. The question everyone's asking, what did Katt really know? And how did he see this storm coming so far in advance? Back in January 2024, Katt Williams sat down for a now legendary interview on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay podcast. That conversation, I'll put it in over 83 million views. Numbers usually reserved for international events. At the time, Katt made some bold predictions that felt outlandish. But in hindsight,
all of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed.
They look like chillingly accurate warnings. Specifically, he claimed that 2024 would be the year all lies would be exposed, and even named Diddy directly. Fast forward a few months, and federal agents were raiding Diddy's properties in Miami and Los Angeles as part of a sex trafficking investigation. Suddenly, Katt's statements were everywhere. Social media exploded with clips from the podcast, hailing him as a truth teller or even someone with insider knowledge. It wasn't just—
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Just what he said. It was the timing. He sounded the alarm in January, and by March, the headlines were confirming his claims. During that interview, Katt also revealed that he had turned down a $50 million offer, saying it would have compromised his integrity. He mentioned rejecting invites to Diddy's parties, which raised eyebrows back then. What kind of party makes someone turn down that kind of money? People were confused, but now those comments feel like red flags. In plain sight, then came the raids, the indictments, and the unraveling of Diddy's empire. The feds allegedly seized bizarre items like 10,000 bottles of baby oil, something Katt joked about in a stand-up set in September 2024. Turning it into a punchline, but also doubling down on the seriousness of the situation. By September 16, 2024, Diddy had been hit with major federal charges: sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation. Violations. Prosecutors painted a picture of a criminal operation centered around so-called freak-offs, private gatherings involving manipulation and substances. Katt responded quickly. Just days later, he posted an AI-generated clip on Instagram that implied Diddy might start naming names to cut a deal, captioning it with "Diddy about to snitch on everybody," over a scene from New Jack City with Diddy's face edited in. Now, with Diddy's trial underway in May 2025, speculation is swirling about whether Katt Williams could be called to testify. His early comments suggest he may have either witnessed or been invited into circles that tie directly to the investigation. Could Katt be the wild card witness that changes everything? People are fascinated by the idea of Katt testifying, not just because of what he said, but because of how he said it, fearless and ahead of the curve. He's built a career on refusing to play the Hollywood game, claiming to have turned down huge sums of money in order to stay true to his values. That outsider status makes him a rare voice in the industry, someone the public sees as unfiltered and authentic. But Katt's issues with Diddy may be more than philosophical. In a November 2024 GQ interview, he opened up about a deeper, more personal reason for speaking out. He said Tupac was his favorite artist growing up, and that if he ever believed someone had anything to do with Tupac's death, he'd make it his mission to see justice, no matter the consequences. He didn't name Diddy directly, but the implication was clear. He sees Diddy as a dangerous figure and believes there are spiritual forces at play behind the scenes in Hollywood. That belief, that what's happening is bigger than fame or fortune, gives Katt's words a chilling edge. As the trial progresses with disturbing testimony already given by key witnesses like Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, the question remains: Will Katt Williams step into the courtroom and bring his truth with him? Whether or not he takes a stand, one thing is undeniable. Katt Williams saw this coming. And now the world is watching to see what happens next. Whether Katt Williams ever takes a stand or not, the public's attention has shifted to a deeper question. What exactly were these so-called freak-offs that are now shaking the foundations of Diddy's empire? With courtroom testimony underway, disturbing details are emerging that paint a picture of something far more sinister than wild parties. According to legal documents and witness accounts, the freak-offs were not casual get-togethers. They were organized multi-day events held in ultra-luxury settings. Think five-star hotel suites, private estates, even yachts. Prosecutors argue that these events were part of a coordinated operation involving substances and alleged non-consensual sexual activity. Far from spontaneous, they appeared carefully designed, with specific roles and a disturbing level of control. One of the most revealing testimonies came from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend, who took the stand on May 13, 2025. She described the freak-offs as performances staged and directed by Diddy himself. Cassie testified that she was instructed to find male participants through certain companies and websites, and that everything unfolded in a strict sequence. It started with what she called descriptive foreplay, then moved to physical touching, where large amounts of baby oil were involved, and finally to more intimate acts. According to her, these weren't spontaneous or consensual encounters. They were rehearsed scenarios manipulated by fear and control. What's truly eerie is how closely these descriptions align with claims Katt Williams made long before any of this became public. In his comedy routines after Diddy's arrest, Katt used the term freak-offs and mocked the massive quantities of baby oil allegedly found during the March 2024 raid on Diddy's Los Angeles home. He joked that Diddy's lawyer claimed the oil was bought in bulk from Costco, only for Costco to deny even selling that much baby oil. Katt even hinted that the oil...
Now, after she details a lot of the background, she starts going into the things that a lot of us wanted to know about. So they talk to her about the freak-offs, and what she says about the freak-offs is that Diddy allegedly was in control. She says that, it was very well choreographed.
Might have been tampered with, suggesting people would end up immobilized after using it. At the time, this all sounded like classic Katt Williams exaggeration, but now it's looking more like grim foreshadowing. The federal indictment supports Cassie's claims. It outlines the use of various substances, powders, pills, oils, used to impair participants during these events. The evidence reportedly seized from Diddy's properties includes over 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Cassie testified that people were required to reapply the oil every few minutes so their bodies looked slick and glossy, like shiny suits from Diddy's old music videos. The symbolism wasn't lost. Participants allegedly being turned into literal props in a twisted production. Most disturbing was Cassie's description of coercion. She admitted to using substances during these gatherings, not out of desire, but as a way to mentally check out. She said she felt trapped, afraid of angering Diddy, who she claimed had complete control over her career and personal life. Her testimony is the foundation of the trafficking charges against him. Under U.S. federal law, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion doesn't require physical violence, just enough pressure, fear, or manipulation to take away free will. Now revisit Katt Williams' January 2024 interview, where he said he turned down $50 million 4 times to protect his integrity and avoid certain parties. It hits differently now. His cryptic reference to protecting his virgin hull suddenly seems like a dark clue. If Katt really does have receipts, proof, or direct knowledge of what went on, the prosecution would almost certainly want to speak with him. The charges Diddy faces are severe. There are 5 criminal counts against him: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and illegal transportation. If convicted, he could be looking at a minimum of 15 years, possibly life. That's not just the end of a career. That's the end of freedom. And it doesn't stop there. As of May 13, 2025, Diddy is also facing 63 civil lawsuits alleging a range of misconduct, many of which stretch back to the 1990s. These cases documented by the Washington Post suggests that Diddy may have used his position in the entertainment industry to exploit and manipulate others for decades. With this growing avalanche of civil and criminal allegations, Katt Williams' earlier refusal to stay silent looks less like paranoia and more like principle. This brings us to one of the most explosive rumors circulating, the so-called celebrity list. Social media has been buzzing with unverified posts linking big names: Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton to these events. But it's important to draw a clear line. Many of these celebrities likely attended Diddy's high-profile public events, not the private gatherings at the heart of this case. Just showing up at a Diddy-hosted party doesn't mean someone participated in or even knew about anything illegal. As the joke goes, it's like blaming everyone who's ever eaten at McDonald's for the ice cream machine always being broken still. The public can't help but wonder who else knew. Did others see signs and look away? Did Katt Williams refuse to play along while others did? And if he's been holding on to this knowledge for years, could his voice be the one that finally pulls back the curtain? Only time will tell if Katt Williams will step into the courtroom. But whether he does or not, his voice is already playing a major role in the unraveling of a story that's exposing some of Hollywood's darkest shadows. The real concern for the celebrities named in this scandal isn't just public perception, it's the legal action now underway. Attorney Tony Busby, who represents over 100 accusers, has reportedly sent letters to numerous high-profile guests who allegedly attended Diddy's notorious freak-offs. These letters went out to actors, musicians, athletes, and even politicians. Busby made it clear, if someone witnessed people being pressured, abused, or harmed and did nothing, they could face legal consequences nearly as severe as those directly responsible. Well, that's like saying if you watch someone shoplift and don't alert security, you could be charged too. This revelation turns up the heat for anyone with inside knowledge, including possibly Katt Williams. Williams has claimed he turned down invitations to these infamous gatherings. If true, his insights could be valuable to investigators trying to understand the nature of these events and who was aware of potential misconduct. Despite rumors flying online and theories going viral, there's no confirmed evidence from any credible source that Williams has testified in Diddy's case or is scheduled to do so. The viral buzz around a supposed courtroom explosion following his testimony seems rooted in speculation or even satire, not reality. As the trial moves forward, more witnesses are expected to testify, possibly including Diddy's former associates and partners. The proceedings are scheduled to last between 8 to 10 weeks, running weekdays from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. ET, with later sessions shifting to 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. ET. Diddy, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, is currently being held without bail at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. While the court handles the legal side, public interest has zeroed in on the broader web of celebrity connections that Katt Williams has been hinting at. Since his now iconic January 2024 appearance on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay podcast, Williams has issued wide-ranging critiques of the entertainment industry. He didn't name every name, but the implications were loud and clear. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024, he said. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TD Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. In calling out both Diddy and others, Williams made it clear this wasn't about one bad actor. It was about a whole system of power and silence that he believes is finally being reckoned with unverified. Social media lists have started circulating, naming a who's who of Hollywood: Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Russell Brand, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Russell Simmons, Usher, Megan Fox, as allegedly being connected to Diddy's private parties. But let's keep it real. These lists haven't been verified by any official investigations, and many of these celebrities probably only attended Diddy's more public, legitimate events, not the alleged illegal gatherings at the center of this trial. Still, the list show the extent to which Katt's hints have spurred speculation and suspicion. One case where Williams was more specific involves Jay-Z. Williams has spoken openly about his love for Tupac Shakur and suggested that both Diddy and Jay-Z might be connected to Tupac's death, echoing long-standing conspiracy theories. Jay-Z was also named in a civil suit alleging that he and Diddy assaulted a 13-year-old girl at an after-party for the 2000 MTV VMAs. Though that accusation pertains to a different kind of event, more of a white party than a freak-off, it adds fuel to the fire swirling around Diddy's inner circle. Jay-Z has denied the claims, calling them false and malicious, but the association keeps resurfacing as the broader case unfolds. Tony Busby's legal strategy reinforces Katt's warnings about a sweeping industry reckoning. His pursuit of anyone who might have witnessed wrongdoing and remained silent supports Williams' earlier statement that 2024 would be the year that secrets come to light. It's like Katt saw a script the rest of Hollywood hadn't read yet. Throughout interviews and stand-up routines, Katt has described himself as someone who refused to play the industry's game. Even when huge paychecks were involved, he's claimed to have turned down $50 million 4 times to avoid taking part in Diddy's parties. That's a strong accusation, not just about Diddy, but about an entire system that rewards compliance and punishes resistance. Since his viral January 2024 interview, Williams has leaned into his new role as what fans are calling a kind of everyman prophet. Clips of him winking or delivering hard truths have gone viral whenever new allegations against Diddy surface. By the time of his GQ interview in November 2024, titled Katt Williams, the Man Who Opened the Portal, he had fully embraced the idea that he was exposing a hidden world. He connected his criticism of Diddy directly to his admiration for Tupac, framing himself as someone fighting for truth and integrity in a corrupt system. Katt's stand-up career has taken on new significance as fans dissect his routines for hidden truths or references. In a September 2024 performance, after Diddy's arrest, he joked about the 10,000 bottles of baby oil reportedly seized from Diddy's properties. That's classic Katt, making people laugh while also delivering a scathing commentary on real issues. Social media has played a massive role in elevating Katt as a kind of cultural whistleblower. Posts praising him as the only honest celebrity left have become commonplace. Some people even compare him to a court jester who dares to speak uncomfortable truths to kings. Except the kings in this case are music moguls, producers, and other power players. Still, for all his outspokenness, Katt remains somewhat on the sidelines of the actual legal case. There's no credible evidence that he's been contacted by investigators, subpoenaed, or asked to testify. This raises an intriguing question. Is Katt just incredibly observant, able to read the room before anyone else, or does he possess insider information that he only shares in coded form? Or maybe his comedy and commentary simply happen to line up with reality in a way that now feels eerily prophetic. Regardless of how much he truly knows, Katt's public image has been reshaped by this ongoing saga. He's no longer just a stand-up comic, he's become a symbol of accountability and transparency in an industry built on secrecy. As the trial progresses, many are watching to see if any of the celebrities Katt alluded to will face formal legal consequences. So far, testimony from key figures like Cassie Ventura has added credibility to allegations about the freak-offs. Cassie described highly organized events complete with carefully curated supplies and hired male companions, implicating a broader network of involvement. With more witnesses expected to come forward, the list of people implicated could grow. And if that happens, Katt Williams might not just be the man who saw it coming. He might be the man who warned us all. Candles for lighting and ambiance. Cassie mentioned how Diddy was so particular that he even micromanaged the scent, insisting on specific brands like Glade. Imagine being so controlling, you're dictating what candles can be lit. That's not just party planning. It's authoritarian. But the most disturbing parts of Cassie's testimony weren't about decor. They were about how these events made her feel. She described feeling horrible and worthless after participating in what she called freak-offs, which she said she only did out of fear and the belief that if she didn't, Diddy would find someone else. She testified that when she tried to avoid those activities, Diddy would manipulate her, saying things like, "You're boring and you're predictable." That's textbook emotional abuse, breaking down someone's self-worth so they feel trapped and easier to control. It's like a toxic ex telling you that no one else would ever want you, just to keep you from walking away. Cassie's testimony casts a powerful light on Katt Williams' decision to keep his distance from Diddy's inner circle. If what she's describing is accurate, then Katt's refusal to join those events wasn't just personal preference, it was a principled stand. His choice to protect his integrity, to refuse to compromise his boundaries despite potential career advantages, speaks volumes. He seemed to sense something was wrong, something others ignored or overlooked. Katt's commentary goes beyond Diddy. It points to systemic issues in the entertainment world. Power abuse, blurred consent, and the fear of speaking out. His willingness to risk backlash and lost opportunities to stay true to his values presents a rare counterexample to the culture of silence that often protects powerful people. In that way, Katt echoes other whistleblowers and truth-tellers who've challenged institutions from within. His comedy isn't just entertainment, it's social critique delivered with bite. Whether or not he ever takes the witness stand, Katt's public statements are already shaping how people view not just the Diddy case, but the entertainment industry at large. Of course, critics might say Katt's views are skewed by old grievances, like the death of Tupac, rather than a truly objective read on Diddy's behavior. But with so many of his claims now being echoed or supported by lawsuits and court documents, it's difficult to dismiss him outright. Joe Rogan has also been weighing in heavily on the Diddy situation through his podcast. Known for interviewing everyone from scientists to celebrities, Rogan's been vocal in his belief that there's more to this scandal than meets the eye. In April 2024, during a conversation with comedian Andrew Schultz, they discussed the federal raids on Diddy's properties. Schultz floated a theory that the feds weren't just targeting Diddy. They were looking for evidence implicating other, powerful people. Rogan didn't hesitate. He agreed immediately, saying, "Yeah, I'm sure," reinforcing the idea that this scandal might involve a broader network. Rogan's take is clear. He thinks Diddy is just the tip of the iceberg. He's painted Diddy not just as a troubled celebrity, but as someone who weaponizes sex and power to dominate others. In a quote reported by IMDb, Rogan even speculated, "I bet Diddy is not even gay," suggesting that Diddy's alleged encounters with male celebrities weren't about attraction. They were about control. Rogan framed it as a drugged-up power move, an accusation that carries heavy implications. The commentary didn't stop there. In October 2024, Rogan and UFC fighter Israel Adesanya discussed possible links between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein. Rogan wasn't saying they were identical cases, but he did imply there might be overlap in their social circles, and possibly in their behaviors. The wildest theory Rogan entertained came during a later episode in 2024 with comedians Shane Gillis, Mark Normand, and Ari Shaffir. They brought up a rumor that Diddy might have been involved in actor Jamie Foxx's mysterious health scare in 2023. Rogan didn't endorse the theory outright, but he also didn't dismiss it. He said, "It's possible. That's totally possible." While he stopped short of accusing Diddy directly, he made it clear that he's open to the possibility of darker forces at play. Rogan's overall position is that Diddy's legal trouble could be the beginning of something much bigger. He hinted at blackmail, a broader conspiracy, and the possibility of serious crimes beyond the charges
Jennifer Lopez is going to be there. Oh, Rick Ross is going to be there. Everyone's going to be
already filed. As for confirmed legal actions, court documents, and mainstream sources like Newsweek, NPR, from Business Insider have identified a list of celebrities involved in lawsuits tied to Diddy. Some are co-defendants, accused of participating directly, while others are named as witnesses or associates who were present during questionable activities. Among the most serious allegations were those involving Jay-Z. He was initially accused of drugging and abusing a 13-year-old girl alongside Diddy back in 2000. The case was dropped with prejudice in February 2025, meaning it can be refiled. That suggests the claim may have lacked evidence, but his involvement being brought up at all signals how far-reaching this case is. R&B singer Aaron Hall is facing on
September of 2023 to produce the rapper's most recent release. So he said hundreds of cameras in his homes in LA, New York, and Miami.
And Diddy liked to throw the parties. Like, he would throw the white party. He'd do,
But who's he have taking care of that footage?
I mean, you can get people.
Wow.
Powerful dude. He's a powerful dude. And I think he really enjoyed power.
The underage people.
Going accusations of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old with Diddy in 1990. Harv Pierre, former president of Bad Boy Records, is named in multiple lawsuits for trafficking and assaulting a 17-year-old in 2003. Cuba Gooding Jr., who already had prior sexual misconduct allegations, is accused of harassing Rodney Lil Rod Jones on Diddy's yacht, something he denies, though his history complicates things. Diddy's own sons Justin and Christian Combs have also been named. Justin is accused of procuring underage girls, while Christian is alleged to have drugged and assaulted a woman aboard the yacht. Jacob Arabo, known as Jacob the Jeweler, is accused of forced intercourse at one of Diddy's notorious white parties. Devante, Swing from Jodeci, was named in a lawsuit for trafficking and coercing underage Liza Gardner. And then there are current celebrities, NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. and comedian Dusky, both accused of gang assault in 2018. OBJ flatly denied the allegations on Twitter, insisting he wasn't near the alleged location. Dusky dismissed the claims, saying he wasn't even famous at the time. Other celebrities mentioned but not accused of crimes include Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop, alleged to have helped Diddy groom Rodney Jones. Rapper Young Miami, who reportedly harassed a pregnant plaintiff, resulting in miscarriage. And singer Keena Harper, who allegedly witnessed Diddy's abuse and faced threats. Music executives Jimmy Iovine and Lucian Grange are also referenced. Iovine for reportedly witnessing Diddy assault Cassie, but continuing to do business with him.
Jamie Foxx just recently said that P. Diddy poisoned him,
Whoa.
and that's why he got that stroke.
I've heard that.
He talked about it on stage.
He said it?
He said it.
He
got poisoned? He said it.
He goes, I didn't have a heart attack because of the vaccine.
And Grange for similar allegations that have since faded from public documents. And this scandal isn't just about Diddy. It's about a potentially sprawling network of complicity, silence, and systemic abuse in the entertainment industry. The question isn't just what did...
Bro,
Whoa.
I think there was some crazy shit going on.
Like Cosby, like drugging.
Diddy wasn't even that
I
big.
think
It was
murders.
Drake could do it.
There's alleged murders. A bunch of people that got pneumonia. A bunch of convenient people that died of pneumonia.
Diddy do? It's who knew, who helped, and who else is implicated. Aiding and racketeering before being dropped from a lawsuit. Even Prince Harry's name comes up, just being mentioned as a dignitary who happened to be in Diddy's social circle. No accusations against him, but just being associated with Diddy right now isn't a good look. Nicki Minaj, Usher, and NAO also get mentioned in passing. Not accused of anything, but their names are still being dragged into this mess simply for being around Diddy at certain times. So when Joe Rogan talks about this case possibly implicating other big names, he's not just speculating. There are already real celebrities named in legal documents. Some of these cases might stick, while others, like the one involving Jay-Z, have been dropped. Still, the fact that so many high-profile individuals have been named already shows how far-reaching and deep this scandal might go. That's part of what makes Rogan's stance so compelling. He's suggesting this could be just the beginning. He implies there may be even more names and even more serious allegations waiting to surface. Whether or not that's true, what's undeniable is that this case already involves more celebrities than almost any other scandal in modern entertainment history. Joe Rogan has discussed this situation on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which is one of the largest in the world. He's had guests from all walks of life. Comedians, fighters, scientists, musicians, and actors, and since the Diddy scandal started gaining attention, many of them have shared their own takes and inside knowledge. A particularly wild episode took place when Rogan hosted comedians Shane Gillis, Mark Norman, and Ari Schaffer. Known for not shying away from controversial topics, they discussed everything from the Diddy allegations to Jamie Foxx's mysterious 2023 health scare. Another notable episode featured UFC fighter Israel Adesanya, who brought up potential overlaps between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein's social circles. That connection raises the stakes.
Sean Diddy Combs' alleged list of accomplices to be revealed soon. The names will shock you, attorney says. Whoa.
I think he's going to sing, hey. If I got invited to the white party, I'd have gone.
Especially if you didn't know.
Of course, no one knew. No one
Right.
knew.
If
And
you
then
don't
you
know,
find
you're just
out.
Dramatically, as it reframes the Diddy case within a broader pattern of elite men allegedly using their power and status to exploit others. The suggestion here is that Diddy's case might not be a one-off, but part of a systemic issue involving powerful figures. Even when Rogan doesn't directly discuss legal specifics, his conversations often dig into the kind of culture that might enable this kind of behavior. One episode examined the structure of Diddy's infamous parties, how they would start as glamorous, high-profile events that gradually shifted into something more secretive and darker as the night wore on. This kind of setup, where an innocent public-facing event masks questionable private behavior, is exactly the kind of system that allows abuse to occur while preserving plausible deniability. In another conversation, a guest recalled Diddy spending $1.5 million on a party and getting angry when someone criticized the extravagance. That anecdote paints a picture of a man obsessed with status, image, and power. Traits that line up with allegations of his misconduct being more about control than desire. One of the more chilling theories discussed on Rogan's show revolves around rumors of physical evidence gathered during federal raids. Rogan and his guest talked about cameras supposedly placed throughout Diddy's properties, possibly used to film what went on at these parties. If true, this opens the door to potential blackmail operations. Recordings from those events could serve as leverage over other high-profile guests, providing another layer to why this scandal could implicate more names. What's striking is how guests from different fields, comedians like Gillis, Normand, Schaffer, and even athletes like Adesanya, have all heard similar stories about Diddy's behavior well before this became a legal firestorm. This hints at a long-standing open secret within the industry. Just like what happened in the Harvey Weinstein case, where many insiders had heard rumors for years. The idea that people in the know were aware of disturbing behavior long before the public heard anything is a consistent theme. The discussion around Diddy's iconic white parties is another key moment. These events, famous for their dress code and celebrity guest lists, were media spectacles that projected legitimacy. But according to Rogan and his guests, they may have been used to conceal darker activities behind the sheen of glitz and glamour. The very public nature of these parties provided cover, making serious allegations seem less believable to the outside world. The bigger picture painted by all of these conversations is of Diddy as someone who strategically built relationships across industries, maintained a spotless public persona, and allegedly used that influence to engage in exploitative behavior. Rogan's podcast has become a space where these topics are explored candidly. While he's careful to clarify that speculation isn't proof, the range of perspectives and overlapping rumors discussed on this show have helped fuel public scrutiny. The podcast's influence is real, according to TMZ during jury selection. For Diddy's sex trafficking trial in May 2025, one potential juror said they first learned about Diddy's parties through the Joe Rogan Experience. That alone speaks volumes about how media, especially new media, can shape public perception and potentially even impact legal proceedings. So, what does all this mean moving forward? This is already one of the biggest scandals in the history of entertainment, and the fallout is far from over. Diddy isn't some B-list celebrity. He's been a central figure in hip-hop and pop culture for decades, with an empire that spans music, fashion, media, and politics. But right now, he's facing serious federal charges: racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pleaded not guilty and denies all the accusations, but he's currently being held in a Brooklyn jail awaiting trial. Since November 2023, over 30 civil lawsuits have been filed against him. If he's convicted, he could be facing decades in prison. Just the trafficking charges alone come with a mandatory minimum of 15 years and could go up to life. But even if he walks free, his legacy is already shattered. His companies are falling apart. Brands are severing ties. Former allies are keeping their distance. His reputation, built over decades, is unraveling fast. This case could end up being a turning point, not just for how the entertainment industry handles abuse allegations, but for how the public navigates conversations around power, fame, and accountability. And it's likely we'll see more revelations before it's all said and done, including his media company Revolt, his Shanjiang clothing line, and his Ciroc vodka partnership. Nearly every aspect of Diddy's business empire is now facing an uncertain future as brands distance themselves from the controversy. His music catalog, once celebrated as part of hip-hop's golden era, is also being reassessed in light of the allegations. For celebrities directly named as co-defendants in the lawsuits, the stakes are even higher. Individuals like Aaron Hall, Harv Pierre, and Diddy's own brothers face potential criminal charges, civil liability, and severe reputational damage. If convicted, the consequences could include prison time, hefty fines, and mandatory registration as sex offenders. For athletes like Odell Beckham Jr., the implications go beyond legal risk. The fallout could derail not only his current NFL career, but also his entire legacy. Even though he has strongly denied the allegations, the mere association with the case may make teams hesitant to sign him, deter sponsors, and leave fans unsure about continued support. For rising entertainers like Drusky, these types of accusations can hit at the worst possible moment. He's called the claims a fabricated lie, but even baseless allegations can stall projects and dampen momentum in an industry where public image is everything. Even for those who haven't been accused but have been linked to Diddy in some way, such as Young Miami or Stevie J, there's a real risk of guilt by association. They'll have to make careful decisions about how to publicly address past relationships with Diddy and whether to distance themselves to protect their careers and reputations. But this isn't just about a few individuals. It speaks to the strange entertainment industry at large. The Diddy case raises broader questions about power, exploitation, and the systems that allow abuse to go unchecked. One of the most disturbing elements of the allegations is the way social events and parties may have been used as fronts. As Joe Rogan and his guests discussed, these gatherings allegedly started off as glitzy celebrity affairs, but evolved into something much darker as the night went on. That's what makes reports of the FBI allegedly discovering surveillance equipment and over 100,000 bottles of baby oil in Diddy's properties so alarming. If true, it paints a picture of an environment designed for manipulation, control, and possibly blackmail, a tactic sometimes used by powerful figures to gain leverage over others. The case also exposes the particular vulnerability of young artists and industry newcomers. Many of the alleged victims were in positions where someone like Diddy had immense power over their futures. That imbalance makes exploitation far more likely and much harder to resist or report. Take Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who filed a $30 million lawsuit claiming he was groomed and assaulted by Diddy while working closely with him on the Love album Off the Grid. He says he feared his career would be destroyed if he rejected advances. That kind of fear is common in cases of workplace abuse, especially in industries like music and entertainment where connections are currency. Similarly, Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former longtime girlfriend, has alleged years of abuse dating back to when she was signed to his label. Their relationship highlights the complex and dangerous power dynamics between label executives and young talent, where saying no can feel like professional suicide. These cases are part of a larger conversation. Does the entertainment industry need serious structural changes to better protect people from exploitation? Should record contracts face stricter oversight? Are more independent reporting systems needed for harassment and abuse? Should there be stronger support for young and emerging artists? These are the difficult questions the industry must now confront. The timing of these allegations is especially damaging for public figures like Odell Beckham Jr. and Drusky, who are still actively building their careers. Even if they're eventually cleared, the controversy could leave long-lasting marks. The fact that the Department of Homeland Security is involved underscores how serious this case is. Homeland Security doesn't typically investigate celebrity scandals unless there are signs of organized criminal activity. The racketeering charges suggest prosecutors believe Diddy's alleged behavior was part of a coordinated systemic operation, not just isolated incidents. That opens the door for more individuals to be prosecuted as co-conspirators if there's evidence they knowingly enabled or participated in illegal activities. This case is shaping up to be a watershed moment, not just for Diddy, but for the entire entertainment industry. It's pushing difficult but necessary conversations about how power is used and abused, and what systems need to change to prevent future exploitation. Regardless of the eventual outcome in court, the impact of this scandal will be felt for a long time. It could mark a turning point in how the industry handles allegations, accountability, and the balance of power behind the scenes.